Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a team that I had great results with in the Great League Remix Cup. Now, the Great League Remix Cup is the open Great League, but the 20 most popular Pokemon that were used from the start of the season have been banned. So this means a lot of Pokemon that we're quite used to seeing, Pokemon like Malamar, Gastrodon, are not available. And in this limited format, Qwilfish proves to be a terrific safe switch. I paired it up with a Pangoro lead and my ever-present Shadow Kanto Grimer as the closer, and went on a 10-3 run to climb up just shy of 3100 elo. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and we're off to a tough start in the first match, leading Pangoro into a Whimsicott. I'm going to save switch into the Qwilfish, and my opponent responds with Bastiodon. Now, Bastiodon, of course, was nerfed prior to the start of the season, but some people are still trying it out in the Remix Cup. The nice thing about Qwilfish is his pacing is just absolutely absurd, so I get to spam out Aqua Tail after Aqua Tail after Aqua Tail, putting a tremendous amount of pressure on opponents, even if they have something like a Steel type into my Poison type. I'm farming up, firing off so many Aqua Tails, Bastiodon just getting overwhelmed with the damage, and we're able to make a play for switch. In the back, the opponent is going to have a Qwilfish of their own, and that's going to be a pretty common occurrence. Qwilfish, just an absolute beast. Here, I should have gone for the Ice Beam because it would do more. I was hoping that I could get to 2, but I'm not going to be able to do so. But regardless, the opponent does end up shielding. They have a lot of energy on the Qwilfish, as unfortunately I lag by a turn and I don't get my Karate Chop through as they fire off their move. My opponent, however, is going to let me get to the Night Slash, as an Aqua Tail would not be enough to knock me out from here. Night Slash gets the shield, and now with the shield, I get the boost, but the boost doesn't matter. By getting their shield, I now have a very clear-cut path to victory, because I can just Sludge Bomb the Whimsicott. So I'm going to bring in the Mud Slapper, the Shadow Grimer. Opponent is going to make the Aqua Tail. Again, it cannot be stated enough how lightning fast Qwilfish is. In comes the Whimsicott. Whimsicott going to fire off a charge attack, but it's too little too late. This is not enough for a Moonblast, just going to be the Seed Bomb. I survive, I make the Sludge Bomb, and that's going to be good night to the Whimsicott as we pick up the one-hit KO, and despite the terrible lead, we're able to take the win. We move to the next match, Pangoro versus Shadow Mawile. It's an Astonish Mawile. Opponent now going to save switch into Shadow Flygon, and unfortunately I don't have a great response available here. I'm going to stay in with the Pangoro, bait with the Night Slash. My opponent is going to return fire with the Dragon Claw, and I am going to shield because my health bar is getting absolutely destroyed here. I'm going to bait again. I want to try and preserve some residual energy. The Night Slash bait gets called, so I aggressively switch into the Grimer and get a farm down. They know I have Mud Slap, so they can't bring in their Mawile. Instead, they're going to bring in Galarian Moltres. Oh boy, if Moltres gets this full farm down, I just lose. Moltres would just get way too much energy here. It looks like I will actually be able to make a Sludge Bomb, so the opponent is going to be forced to fire off an Ancient Power. Ancient Power going to pick up the knockout. In comes the Qwilfish, and Qwilfish up energy should do very, very well in this endgame. They're going to be firing off energy. They full send the Brave Bird. There's going to be a switch out into the Mawile, and I try and make it to the close combat, but I don't get there. They're running Power Up Punch on the Astonish Mawile. So I get KO'd, and now perfect energy management with Qwilfish will be key to win this game. I throw 1 and the Aqua Tail. I'm going to throw 3 and the Aqua Tail, trying to maximize the farm. Aqua Tail picks up the knockout. In comes the Moltres, and I got the perfect overfarm as we make it to the Ice Beam, knocking Moltres out of the sky and taking the win. We move to the next match, leading Pangoro into Shadow Bastiodon, an unbelievably good lead. Opponent safe switches into Poliwrath, but wait, that is not counter. That is actually a Mud Shot Poliwrath. I should have thrown the close combat sooner here. Letting them catch back up in terms of the turn desync is a definite misplay by me. I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% sure on the Mud Shot to Icy Wind counts, but now that I know that it's Mud Shot, I can very comfortably stay in here and just unleash close combats. Close combat after close combat, forcing these shields away from the opponent, and even though I'm -4 defense, they can never farm down. I'm going to overfarm, play to the CMP tie here, and close combat will be able to secure the knockout. I'm heavily debuffed, so I'm looking to switch out. In comes Metachamp. Oh, it was Psycho Cut. I could have stayed. Oh my goodness, I saw the Medicham and I just didn't want to take the counter damage, but he's actually running Psycho Cut Medicham. I think Medicham, Psycho Cut, or counter is just bad currently. Like, especially in this instance, like Psycho Cut, they just have no fast move pressure into the Pangoro with anything on their team. So I'm going to bring in Pangoro. In comes the Shadow Bastiodon, but I'm going to get the double up on the close combats. Unfortunately, my game actually stutters there, so I throw one past the double. But now all I have to do is just switch into the Grimer, and I can very comfortably farm it into a range where close combat will KO. So they can knock me out with the Psychic, but it's fine. But guess what? I got the rank 2 Shadow Grimer. We tank that Psychic like a champion. Mud Bomb takes them to 1 HP. And now this close combat ends up being massive overkill, but we will gladly take it as we're able to take the win. Moving to the next match, Pangoro versus Shadow Golurk. This is a bit of a tricky matchup because the Mud Slaps just do so much damage. And here, the opponent is in a really awkward spot. They either have to undertap and throw an alignment, or they have to give up 2 shields before I give up 1, and we get a boost as well. Let's go. They go for the dynamic punch. I get the double up. They're almost assuredly going to catch, but the awkward thing about trying to predict a switch out is I don't know what they're going to catch onto. So I'm just going to click Night Slash. They catch and sneak onto Steelix, so the Dragon Tail will KO, but I do get some pretty nice damage. Steelix is a little awkward. I'm going to bring in Grimer because I want some residual energy, but I'm actually going to bank this energy and then switch out into the Quillfish. Unfortunately, the game doesn't let me switch right away, but I am still able to outpace because Quillfish's pacing is just absurd and pick up the knockout with the Aqua Tail. Opponent can bring back in the Golurk if they'd like, but I'm going to be able to make it to an Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail will be able to KO. It looks like the opponent got 1 turn bring in there, so I got a Poison Sting that I shouldn't have gotten. Opponent is going to switch out, and in the back is going to be Wheezing. So I'm basically going to play the rest of this game as if I have 1 fewer Poison Sting than I do, because I shouldn't have gotten that Poison Sting. I switch out, and I get the catch here. Brutal Swing, not going to do a lot. Again, surviving a move on low HP. The high-rank Shadow Grimer putting in work. Mud Bomb is going to take them out. And acting as if I didn't get the free Poison Sting that I shouldn't have gotten, I throw 1 in the move, just to show that even if the game worked, the team was still going to get the win. Hopping to the next match, Pangoro into Shadow Machamp. Oh boy, this is not a good lead. I'm going to be safe switching into the Quillfish, and in comes Golurk. Golurk, these Mud Slaps are adding up. I think I might actually be able to make it to a second Aqua Tail here. It's going to be close. They let it go. Oh my goodness. They let it go. They almost get 1 shot. They hang on with 1 HP, and I'm able to get a farm down. In comes Machamp. The fact that they let that go, they must be ABA strong against the Pangoro. That's the only reason you ever let that go. So, in this instance, I'm going to have to rely on the Shadow Grimer. They actually let the Aqua Tail go as well. In comes the Grimer, and I'm going to be shielding up the Stone Edge. I cannot rely on Pangoro to win if they played it the way that they did, and now we see why they played it that way. Because they had a fairy in the back, so they didn't need switch. But since I preserved my Grimer, I'm going to get all these Mud Slaps, and now I think this is a range where I can Karate Chop down with Pangoro. If I can't farm down in 4, I'm just going to click Night Slash so I can fish for a potential boost here. In hindsight, I think I could have just Karate Chopped down regardless, and throwing the move is probably a bit of a loose con, but my opponent is not going to be able to make a play rough regardless. In comes Machamp, we Karate Chop down, and we led Pangoro into a team that was ABA strong to it, and we were still able to win. We got a great lead in the next match, and it looks like this trainer is ABA weak to Pangoro because you would never stay in this matchup unless you absolutely had to. Night Slash is going to connect, and this is that pacing. The pacing on both the Pangoro and the Quillfish is just absolutely absurd. It's one thing that I really liked about this team is you are never far off of a charge attack. I will be shielding up the Icy Wind. I'm expecting them to throw instantly here, so I'm just going to click the move right when they get theirs and deny their energy with a well-timed CMP. Opponent is going to double shield. You know what? I'm going to double shield as well. The Astonishes have done so much that I'm already pretty close to the red health, but that's still okay. I'm going to overfarm as much as I can and then fire off the Night Slash. I'm going to be pivoting out of here because I am, of course, going to be heavily debuffed, but I get the boost, so I'm no longer debuffed. I'm back to normal. In comes Sableye. I'm going to save a close combat for later, bring in Quillfish. Opponent is going to bring in Umbreon, and now we see why they couldn't switch out, because with Umbreon in the back, Umbreon gets obliterated by Pangoro. It is not close at all. Umbreon is going to be firing off a foul play. Quillfish is very glassy, though. Look at how much damage that does. My goodness. And here, I am at 100 energy. So I can take advantage of the fact that my opponent is going to want to throw in good timing. I can just keep doing one in the move. If they want to knock me out, they're going to have to throw on alignment here. They end up switching into the Sableye. Sableye going to take quite a bit of damage from the Aqua Tail. I switch into Pangoro. It may be resisted, but I think it does slightly more. Go for the close combat. It's going to land. They farm me down on 1 HP, but they're switch locked, so I can bring in the Quillfish. They don't have 2 moves here, so they can foul play. That's fine, and I can just farm down. They actually go return there, but Grimer is going to be able to clean up this game because a Dark Pulse or a foul play or even a Psychic would not KO. Going through the list of options here for Umbreon, and it's not going to matter as they don't have enough energy to get to 2 moves. We get the Mud Bomb, and the win streak is able to continue. We move to the next match, Pangoro versus Shadow Empoleon. An amazing lead. Opponent safe switches into Goodra. I'm going to farm up to the close combat like I'm going for close combat and dip, but I am going to go for a bait. The Night Slash gets the shield and gets the boost. Oh my goodness. Pangoro popping off. And now that I'm boosted, I think I can actually Karate Chop this into a range where Night Slash will KO. We have the Mud Slapper for the Empoleon. Things are looking amazing for us. That just KOs. Oh my goodness. And the opponent says, Henry, enough of your nonsense. And they will resign the match. We got a terrible lead in the next match. Pangoro into Galar Weezing. We're going to save switch to Quillfish, and the opponent is going to deny our full sneak there as they fire off the Brutal Swing right away. That's a good play by my opponent, but they now bring in a Shadow Bayleaf. What is this doing here? Oh my goodness. Well, so far they are very, very weak to our good friend the Grimer. They end up throwing on alignment there. It looks like my fast move may have gotten denied as well. They go for the Ancient Power. My fast move did get denied, but I'm able to make it to the Ice Beam, and here I can force the final shield. Opponent lets it go. Down goes the Bayleaf. In comes the Weezing to get farm, but now Weezing is going to get hit with the Grimer. So this opponent clearly just having fun, like... A team with Weezing and Bayleaf is going to be more designed just for the battler themselves to have fun rather than a climbing strategy. And in the back is Shadow Cacturne. And so yeah, this is definitely just a team for fun from the opponent. I go for the Night Slash, and now the only loose con is me shielding here. So I just let this go. The Trailblaze does a ton of damage, but Sucker Punch, even when boosted, is double resisted. I can farm down with the Grimer, and we get to leave with the Mud Bomb loaded. So Weezing about to have a truly terrible day as the Mud Bomb connects. 1 Mud Slap later, good game. We move to the next match here, Pangoro versus Salazzle. Oh my goodness. We're going to see a switch out into the Quillfish, and look at that pacing. They get to a move in 10 turns, but we get to ours in 8, counting the 1 turn from switching in, and we're just able to outpace. They farm up to a potential Dragon Pulse, so I am going to be respecting it. It is just going to be a Poison Fang. They bring in a Gliscor. What is this doing here? You got nerfed. Why are you here? Wing Attack is nerfed. Here, I'm expecting they're going to try and call an Aqua Tail, so I'm going to farm up a lot and just go straight for the Ice Beam. I want to guarantee a one-shot or the final shield. They try to call the bait. Good night, Gliscor. And if they bring back in Salazzle, they're going to have a terrible day. They bring in Tropius, and this is actually a core breaker for this team. Tropius does very well against Pangoro, and it actually does well against the Grimer because Grimer's on Mud Slap. Mud Slap is amazing, but it is triple resisted due to this grass flying typing. Sludge Bomb, so much damage, but it does not knock out. They will be firing off an Aerial Ace, and this is a really awkward health range, because at this health range, I still wonder if it's not going to be enough for Mud Bomb to knock out. So I go for the Mud Bomb. They tank it because it's triple resistant. It comes Salazzle, and look at that damage. Oh my goodness. Salazzle does have stored energy here. I'm going to bring in the Panda, and that was my gamble. My gamble was that they were on Fire Blast, because if they had Fire Blast, they needed 2 to get there, but they are not able to because Panda paces too quickly, and we're able to take the win. Hopping into the final match here, and I believe this was a loss here, as we actually see a Morpeko from the opponent, and Morpeko is going to take a lot of damage from Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to land. Opponent here, I didn't see a sneak, so I was very confused as to what happened, because I should lose the CMP tie here, but I guess for whatever happened, then they ended up just not throwing a fast move, or maybe they lagged, or I don't know. It looked very odd. Either way, they're going to be a dark type now, so I can bring in Pangoro and be a complete wall to the energy. They're going to go for Psychic Fangs. In comes Whimsicott, and I'm going to bring in Grimer, and in the back is Galarian Stunfisk. Okay, Grimer's moment to shine. Let's go, Grimer. Mud Bomb is going to land. That does big damage. And they're going to try and fire off a Rock Slide, but I have shields to hide behind. So I'm going to be shielding up the Rock Slide, getting the farm down, and exiting with energy. I'm fully expecting that they're going to bait here. So I am going to be firing off a Mud Bomb bait, and the bait is successful, but my issue now is I'm getting quite low. I should live a Seed Bomb, though. I let it go. Their Grass Knot, no, it KOs. And now I need Pangoro to try and sweep this. If I get a Night Slash plus a close combat, I can win, and I have it. So can I survive the Fairy Wind here? Night Slash lands. I don't get the close combat, as the Fairy Wind does KO. And unfortunately, that game will end in a loss. Overall, I feel like this is a very strong team composition if you're looking to rank up, get some elo during these wonderful weeks where the Little Halloween Cup has gone away forever. That format is atrocious. It should never return ever. And we have actually playable 1500 CP metas. So overall, I'm very excited about this week. And so far, even just in day one, I've had a tremendous amount of fun trying out some teams so far. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The Support Guys Fight is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.